All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is a very funny comedian, a veteran comic. He's been around in everything from the Friars Club to SNL. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Greenberg. Bob, how you doing, man?
I'm a veteran. I used to work with Charlie Chaplin, old time. In those days, stand-ups used subtitles. You couldn't hear us. We would just move our mouths and see a funny thing and go back. How you doing?
Good, good. I'm loving your background right on the set of the Honeymooners, huh?
Yes. Look, I got to turn this way. Yeah, there's the ice box, as you can see. I'm waiting for the Iceman to come. I hope he wears a mask, But anyway, and there on the Honeymooners sets, where you see the. Hold on. Oh, this way I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go that way. My hand. Oh, there we go. And I got it now. Here we go. Here we go. I always loved this candy dish. What was in the? There's nothing in the candy dish. It's just Alice's dreams. That's all. And Ralph's nightmares are in the candy. There's nothing in the candy dish. No pictures on the walls. Look at that. There's not a radio. Forget the television or television, or whatever you want to call it. It's a very sad place, isn't it? Look at the street, 328 Chauncey Street. Although Gleason, because he never memorized the script, once said 378 Chauncey Street, which is very strange, but it's 328 Chauncey Street. I don't know how he forgot where he lived. That's where he really lived.
Oh wow!
This is the apartment. This is a perfectly fine apartment from 1922, right?
But it's cool.
With an ice box,
What's cool is that the Honeymooners, like you said, goes way back to like the 50s, like when television first started, one of the first sitcoms. And it still holds up today. What do you think that is? What's so special about the Honeymooners?
I think it's the characters, that he wants to better himself. Also, you feel superior to Ralph Cramden. I think anybody, even a child, feels superior to Ralph Cramden. And he's a dreamer, and we're all dreamers. The Bang Zoom. Actually, this is a Bang Zoom meeting. A Bang Zoom meeting.
Bang Zoom.
the Bang Zoom, or used to say pow, or right in the kisser and stuff. I don't think that would fly today if the suits were having a meeting about it.
I know.
I treat you like a woman. I let you sew, I let you cook, I let you wash the windows, I let you clean up. Boys don't do that, Alice.
But you can say the same thing about All in the Family.
Oh yeah.
Too, right? But I think it's the character. We love Ralph, and no matter what, Alice loves him, and it's very heartwarming. And it was really like the first sitcom. This is your first deal.
And it set the standard, and it still holds up today. It's still funny. The punchlines still work. That's just great. And there's something special about the old comedies.
Baby, you're the greatest.
So now are you ready for some of these comedy questions we have for you?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, it is time for comedy questions. All right, so our first one, who is on your Mount Rushmore of comedy?
Well, I think I mentioned a lot of the guys. Laurel and Hardy, W.C. Fields. Kids, watch W.C. Fields. He's the whole package. He's the epitome of the character comedian. I guess I like the character comedians. And he is watch anything with W.C. Fields.
Don't be so free with your hands.
Listen, honey, I was only trying to guess your weight. You take things too seriously.
Baloney, Mahoney, Malarkey, you big kabloona.
Marx Brothers, You Can't Beat Stooges. All the classic guys, Chaplin, Buster Keaton, he's timeless. He's very much in today.
That's a really strong Mount Rushmore you got there.
Oh yeah, I mean you could throw in Pryor too. I mean, Richard Pryor was so amazing. The thing about having a heart attack, you remember that? He did this bit about his heart attack.
Oh yeah, his heart
talking to him. He was on fire, right? He did a whole special in a red suit after he was on fire. I mean,
just straight to match like this. What's that? Richard Pryor running down the street.
This guy, nothing stopped him. If I was on fire, I would take a vacation. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't put on a red suit, performing, but he did.
Because he knew he just got a ton of material by lighting himself up. So he couldn't wait.
It's the funniest thing. Talk about, making lemonade, as they say, When you dealt lemons, making lemonade, I think is the old expression.
Yep.
That guy made a lot of lemonade. And Carlin, too, George Carlin. I saw him at Carnegie Hall. And it was very funny watching him work. They didn't bother to move the chairs. There must have been a Philharmonic thing. There's always, have you seen footage of that of him performing at Carnegie Hall? And you see chairs like did he just say, no, don't do anything? Like, they didn't put anything behind him.
Yeah,
but,
it looks like the...
Right, the chairs are just like,
folded up, like stacked.
Like a local 108 said, no, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. My name is George Carlin, and I am a professional comedian, as opposed to the kind you run into at work all day long.
So he just left the chair. And I think he was that kind of performer. I don't think he cared about the, what is the expression, the bells and whistles,
Yes.
Carlin just came out and did it.
Yep.
The only other performer I ever saw that really almost didn't care about the audience was Janine Garofalo.
Right.
I like her, nothing against her, but I remember her coming out. Well, there's a special with this type of scene where she has always had a material on a piece of paper, a yellow legal pad, and they would be laughing, and she would throw her off. Like, why are you laughing at this? It almost annoyed her,
The bacteria, just so much bacteria that it really, I'm really not comfortable with that. I find that, especially the airplane bathroom, that's patient zero for any pandemic you may wish to imagine. And really, I don't like that kind of talk.
That was funny. So you're laughing because she's saying this, but she was really annoyed. Right. I've never seen a performer not want the laughter.
Yeah, be disrupted by it.
And I want you to know it benefits none of us for me to lie to you to create content. I wouldn't do it, not at town hall.
It's funny when you do stand-up. I remember I was doing a bit about going to yeshiva. It's one of my oldest bits. And I was trying to explain it. And I said, you know what a yeshiva is? It's a Jewish Catholic school. And then I go into the bit. Well, I would get a laugh on, it's a Jewish Catholic school. And I'm like, what the fuck? They're laughing. And then I go, oh, leave it in. And sometimes you're heading to the joke, and the stuff before the joke. And what was my final joke? I tried to learn Hebrew, but to me it all looked backwards.
Nice.
Right? And then the punchline, I guess I'm Yitzlex. That was the punchline.
Nice.
So it still works, but I'm just saying that the Jewish Catholic, I remember it threw me because I'm heading to the joke, So the strangest reaction I ever got from a bit was I was working this club called Tickles. I don't know if you ever heard Tickles. I opened for Chris Rush there.
Oh, nice. Yeah. The great
and
Chris
there
Rush.
was this audience that did not get my Jew stuff. They didn't want to see Jews. I don't know. They didn't know what I was talking about. It was just Brooklyn. Must have seen Jews at some point.
Right, yeah.
But they didn't know. And I have a bit where I talk about going to church for the first time, and it's a midnight mass because my friend took me. And so I said, I'm there, at church, midnight mass. So I'm sitting there, I'm enjoying the show. When all of a sudden I smell something funny burning, I look around and I see this boy coming down the aisle with incense. And then I say, at some point I say, I'm smelling the incense, making me cough and crying, I'm sneezing and coughing, and I'm wondering, what is that incense for? And then I realize it's to flush out the Jews. Right? So that's the punchline. You're laughing. Right. I did the show I opened with Chris Rush, and not only did it not get a laugh, but there was a older woman sitting up front, and she was sort of, yes, that's right. Like, I think
she was like, he's exactly right, folks.
You're right. That's the flush out. He's right. That was the most funny thing. I mean, it's like, you do this kind of like, obviously it's not true. That's the humor, and then they agree with you.
Right. Yeah.
It's not your crowd.
Now you are part of the Friars Club, so I'm sure you've been around a lot of the great comedians. It seems like you love the history of stand-up comedy, as I do. But through all the comedians you've got to meet through the years, have you ever gotten any advice from them? And what's the best comedy advice you've ever gotten?
basically, the best advice I ever got was definitely be yourself. Breathe. I remember that. Always remember to breathe. Isn't that interesting? Listen to the audience. As a matter of fact, like I was telling you about that Bethlehem, Pennsylvania gig, you know, I listened to the audience and they like curlies. I did curly doing 100 different things. Listen to the audience. And Jeffrey Ross told me, for instance, he said, you know, you should always talk about yourself. People like to know about you. You're a nice guy. And I do a lot of impressions and characters in my act, but occasionally I will reveal some stuff and put the impressions within the framework of something that happened to me. And it makes them more personable, more real. And, you know, it's like being real is very important. But you know who gave me really, really, really good advice was Joan Rivers. And I met Joan Rivers for maybe 15 seconds. It was a Friars toast, not a roast. It was a toast to Don Rickles. I met Don Rickles.
Wow.
He talked to me. I was so in awe of Don Rickles. I can't remember. I have a picture. I'm shaking hands and I'm smiling. But whatever he said to me, I was like, it's Don Rickles. You know, you forget what they're saying. But Joan Rivers, Jeffrey Ross brought me over to Joan Rivers and said, Joan, I want you to meet Bob Greenberg, very funny comedian. And Joan, you know, she had that work done on her face. You know? Right. And what got me out of the fanning out was the fact that I was just mesmerized by it looked like a mask. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was so at the end there, yeah.
And like her eyes were like within the thing, like, and so I completely, the whole fan thing went out the window. But she said to me, do you enjoy doing it? And I say, yes, I enjoy doing it. Well, if you love it, you'll be a success. As long as you love it, you will always be a success. And she's right. If you love doing it, you'll always be a success because you'll work at it, you'll have fun. That's the important thing. That's what she said to me. Do you enjoy doing it? Do you love it? And that's really the best advice I could give anybody. You gotta love what you're doing.
You gotta love what you're doing, and to get that kind of advice right from Joan Rivers is pretty awesome indeed. You say you do a lot of impressions in your act. Do you have a favorite, and could we see it, please?
Oh, well, hard to say. I did a little Gleason for you.
To be or not to be? Oh, that is the question.
I'll do a quick Lou Costello at the John Gotti trial. How's that?
Oh, perfect.
Mr. DA, are you asking me if I think John Gotti's a member of organized crime? I'll tell you, confidentially, oh, there's John Gotti. There's John Gotti. John Gotti. John Gotti. John Gotti. John Gotti. Hey, it was a work from the Derby, too. You got the idea.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's great. You even got that. Awesome. What would you say is your favorite part of being a stand-up comedian? What's your favorite thing about it, about the craft?
My most favorite thing about it is sharing with the audience. You know, I like those moments when we're all together and we communicate. And I'll say something, and I'll wait, and I'll laugh, and it takes a while. I think as a performer, I know when I was starting, you know, often the sign of an early stand-up or a stand-up just starting is he rushes through his material. The laughs aren't on the jokes; it's on the pauses. And I think with the pauses is when the audience sees the person up there, and also it takes people. You're saying something in your mind, and you have to convey it to them. And it may take them, 3 seconds to understand what you're talking about. If you don't take that pause, there's no laugh. And there's, I met Jerry Lewis too a few times. He was actually nice to me. I've heard some horror stories.
Yeah, yeah, he can be moody.
Jerry used to say, wait for your laugh. Always wait for your laugh. And that's true. You do the funny thing. If they don't laugh, you move on. But if they start to laugh, you got to give it the moment. Otherwise, you won't get the laugh. Not because you're not funny, but because you didn't take the pause. But I think the pause goes back to breathing, that I mentioned earlier.
Right, right.
And also being in the moment.
Last Halloween, I ran out of candy. Kids came to the door, I had nothing for them. So I gave out takeout packs of sugar. Which is candy in its purest form.
I mean, Henny Youngman was hilarious. He would do those jokes. But he always took a break between he would do the joke, take it right, please. And there was a time, right?
Right.
You go into the next, took my brother-in-law to the beach, talked so much, her tongue got sunburned.
Oh, yeah. Right.
The room was so small, even the mice were hunchback. Remember those jokes?
Yeah.
He would just hit you with all these jokes. But he always took that pause. Waited for the laugh. Next. So that's timing. So I just love, so in other words, I mean, basically connecting with an audience, I think that's part of it. And it's nice you get in front of all these strangers, and then afterwards they feel they know you, and in a way they do know you. And you may not know them, but they like you, they laugh, and that's a nice feeling. So I think we were all in this for the love. We want to be loved back, and I think all the stand-ups, they want that love. What's better than making people laugh? Nothing's better.
Nothing better than that, man. That's for sure.
Nothing better. I laugh harder with this whole quarantine. I laugh harder. I watched the Three Stooges. I watched Shemp. They did a bunch of Shemps when he was dead. He really died. You know about this? Poor Shemp died. And they would use stock footage of him, but they'd shoot new footage of Mo and Larry and have a stand-in like the back of Shemp's head.
The back of it, yeah.
And Mo would say to the fake Shep, Shep, go over there. And the back of someone's head would go, and
that's awesome.
He was dead. Like, where's Shep? Shep and Curly and Mo were all brothers. And so Larry says to Mo, where's Shep? Or Mo says to Larry, where's Shep? And they go, he's upstairs. He's upstairs. In stock footage in a moment, but he's upstairs. Right. Or he's outside, or he's whatever. And I feel like saying, no, Mo, he's dead.
He'd break the news to him.
No, he's dead. He's not coming. But 5 short. They call it the dead Shemps. I think it's like 5 shorts that they had enough stock footage that they would be plumbers, and Shemp would be they had footage of him in another room. And they have a stand-in. It's kind of sad, but anyway, I could laugh now at a dead Shemp. Watch the guy standing in for Shemp going, cracks me up.
Bob, thanks so much, my friend. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. And all the best to you.
You too. Goodbye, folks.